Most entrepreneurs are waiting for the perfect time to start. The ones who win are the entrepreneurs that start before they even feel ready. Hi, my name is Boris Sinju. I built a company and assembled a team that has over 120 years of experience who have completed over 1 billion in transactions. I'm on a journey to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach their goals by building smart systems, assembling a world-class team, and also structuring their life in a way that success is a matter of when, not if. And in this video, I will show you the exact formula and system that I use to go from idea to execution. So for every single successful entrepreneur and business that you see out there, they utilize what I call the experience, money, time triad. And I'm going to explain it, so please pay attention. If you have time and experience, it's inevitable that you will always make money. If you have time and money, you can always get the experience that's needed to go from point A to B. But if you have experience and money, you can always shorten the time that it takes you to go from point A to point B. Remember, money can get you talent. Talent can shorten the time that it takes. And that shortened time can build momentum because you're getting from A, B, C, D a lot quicker than somebody else. That is, they don't know where they're going. They're still figuring things out. It's taking them years when you can do a quantum leap and it will take you maybe months or maybe even weeks, depending on how quick your execution is. And when you have momentum, you will eventually make money. Majority of entrepreneurs only have time because you have limited capital. That capital is mainly just for you to survive whilst you're figuring things out, right? And you have limited experience. Even if you've been working in your industry, you don't have a holistic view of what it takes to really go from point A to B, right? So the question is, how do you execute this triad? That is the backbone of every single successful business if you are lacking in two departments. Majority of the time, like I said, you have time. You don't have money unless you have an investor who is willing to give you money, but there's a high chance that they won't unless you have experience. Where a lot of founders or entrepreneurs go wrong is they want to do everything by themselves. They want to know everything by themselves. They want to execute everything by themselves. But that's so limited in terms of how quick you can move. If you're doing everything by yourself, you're doing everything by trial and error. If I could tell you that, hey, there's a way that you can work the exact same way you're working now, the exact same effort, because you're grafting, you're putting in the work. If I told you you can do the exact same thing you're doing now and disproportionately see massive results, would you take it? Of course you take it. Who wouldn't? Build on the shoulders of giants. You have to be able to attract people in your industry or where you are working in that have decades of experience and credibility. So, the first thing that you must have is a bankable idea. Big idea. The reason why big ideas are important is because big ideas have a massive gravitational field. Because someone that has 10, 20, 30 years of experience in their sector, they're probably making more money than you are right now. They have the experience in the world. But for them to come and join your goal or your vision or help you build this business, they have to say, do you know what? I'm having a small slice of a big pie. And if this thing goes well, man, I'll be making money. Because at the end of the day, human beings are thinking about their own selfish interest. If you have a small goal or something that you want to build, yes, it's phenomenal and you can probably execute that by yourself, but you will find it very difficult to attract a world-class team that can help you go from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time. You need to have big bankable ideas, right? And when you have this big bankable idea, which you have to genuinely just do your market research. You have to expand the current ideas that you have. It doesn't mean from the onset you go for this massive idea, but the journey has to look like a J curve. The journey has to look like this. They have to see somewhere that they're going to have a big liquidity event. And that's why when you look at startups that are, in incubators or whatnot, and they're able to raise a lot of money, it's because they have big bankable ideas that investors are looking at and saying, if this goes well, I am going to make a significant return. So, yes, you might not be looking to build the next SaaS startup or the next Facebook or the next, Tesla or whatever company that you like out there, right? You might not be looking to do that, but your idea has to be big enough. It has to have a big gravitational field that somebody that has more money than you, more experience than you, is willing to back your vision. And with AI, you can do all these things. You can brainstorm. You can do research a lot faster. You can build frameworks that allows you to go from point A to point B. Okay. So we've spoken about, you building on the shoulders of giants, which is getting credible people that have decades of experience in your sector to join you, right? And I'll talk more about in other videos how you actually get these people to join you, because it's a deep dive. It's very, very complex, and you got to have grit, to be honest with you. But if you do pull that off, man, the time that it takes to go from point A to point B, it might take the average person 2 years, and it might take you 6 months. I kid you not. And that's by you getting the right people around you. Remember, the next thing is big, bankable ideas, because that's the way you can attract the right talent. And that's the way you can also attract the right money. So remember this: if you have someone in your circle or in your network that fits their experience that you need, it's super easy for you to even attract money, whether it's from a bank or an investor. Because majority of the time, when a startup goes to actually raise money, and the reason why they fail is because the investor or the bank or the institution that's lending the money, they say, oh, well, this is a phenomenal idea, but they lack their experience. And what they're saying in complex English, right, is we're not too sure if you can execute this. We're not too sure if you're the right person. They'll tell you, well, you don't have founder problem fit or founder idea fit and all that rubbish. At the end of the day is you don't have enough experience that gives us confidence to give you this money that we're going to make our return. So when you have an idea, getting experience is almost more important than having money. So you have to build on the shoulders of giants and have big bankable ideas to be able to attract these giants to join you. But if you have an idea, you have to be willing to work your ass off. Because remember, even though these people, they have experience and they're joining you, doesn't mean they're going to do the work. They have experience, but you have the time, and you don't have the experience, neither do they have the time. So it's a symbiotic relationship that you have. They give you the knowledge, some and access to their network, and your job is to execute. You have to execute, because remember, not everybody has access to people like this. Remember, entrepreneurship is a survival game, right? And it's very, very important to have the right infrastructure in place. You must be able to manage your emotions. You must be able to manage your time, manage your resources, protect your energy, be able to assemble and attract the right people to join your team. It's very, very important. I've put on the screen, I think it's on this side, everything that you need to consider when you're starting your journey. Simply because if you do not have the right infrastructure in place, when something doesn't go your way, it can completely throw you off. If you ask any entrepreneur that is willing to share their journey and be vulnerable with you, it's not a journey of sunshine at the start. And you hear in these motivational videos about entrepreneurship, it's going to be hard. Until you getting there, you don't really know how tough it is because it takes a lot on your emotions, your mental health. It takes a toll because you're someone that has an idea and that believes that you can execute this idea, but somehow your environment contradicts that. Your environment says, well, maybe not. You look to your left, you look to the right, and you're not around people that are executing or have the exact same worldview as you when it comes to achieving your goals. Okay. The most important thing here is you need the infrastructure success model. So you've identified a core problem, whatever that your business idea is. Think about it right now as I'm talking to you. Okay, great. You need to do some market research, which you've done. You need to understand how big your market, your total addressable market. You need to understand these things here. How big is your market? When you understand the core problem, you know how big your market is. Create the fastest MVP you can create, even if it's just a presentation that you're going to present to people. Create that as soon as possible and go to the market as soon as possible. Get people to tell you where they believe it sucks, where they believe it's great, the problems that it's solving. Then you can now create a product, whether that's even, an info product or that is a platform or something on the web, right? With AI, any of these things is possible. Moving from idea to execution has never been easier with AI, using Claude, using ChatGPT, using Manus AI, using Cider AI. There's all these different platforms that will allow you to execute, whether that's creating a presentation, whether that's creating, an application online that you can just share by a link, right? And this way, when you're taking this MVP and this product that's taking you probably no less than a week to do, if you execute it properly, you're able to go to the market, get a response, collect data, and come back. And when you have that data and you have that MVP and you understand your market, it's way easier for you to attract these people that have experience that will then allow you to refine this idea and help you execute it properly to eventually make the money. So if you really, really enjoy this video, there's going to be more videos that I'm going to be uploading, talking about how do you actually attract a world-class team, how do you incentivize them, how do you structure your agreements, how do you also structure your life to give you, the best chance for you to succeed in whatever endeavor that you have, particularly when it comes to financial runway. Because a lot of people, they take a massive leap, they quit their jobs, they don't have a side, gig that they do to sustain, and they just don't have any structure. So when things are not going at the pace that they hoped that it will go, they eventually quit. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to be able to still, have a certain standard of living, quality of life, but also have the opportunity to pursue your goals. Click the link in the description below. It's a free assessment. We call it the Founder Readiness Assessment. What this assessment will do is unveil to you where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. It's a comprehensive assessment on your lifestyle at this moment. It will ask you about your obligations, your lifestyle, your goals, your fears, your ideas, if you've done market research, things like that, across different areas that probably you've not thought about. And at the end, it will give you a score like it's a credit score, telling you if you're ready to take that leap or if you're not ready to take that leap.